Kicking off the new year in RuneScape, we have the Birthday Buff Bonanza. Starting with today's update, up until January 21st, you can access a daily power-up, progressing you towards unlocking your very own fancy hats, as a way to celebrate RuneScape's recent birthday. This hat is aimed to match the fancy boots that have been in the game for a very long time now. Earning yours is as simple as logging in and activating the buffs during the event days. Each activation from January 8th until the 21st will earn you progress towards the fancy hat. There are two, you can get both the fancy hat and the fancy hat retro, and they will be unlocked at the same time. Each day you'll be presented with a choice between 3 different buffs. The choice will be the same for all players each day, but you can only choose one per day, so choose wisely. There is a plethora of very awesome buffs, some of them very powerful, and will change the way you play depending on which one you choose for the day. Here is the full list of what will be available, when it will be available, through the duration of the Birthday Bonanza. So if any of these are interesting to you, do note the time, and you can play around it accordingly. Once you've chosen one of these for a given day, you have a 2-hour buff that will tick down only while you're logged in, so feel free to take breaks. If the day ticks over while your buff is still active, you still have the remaining time, so long as you don't log out or lobby in that play session. If you did, then yes, it will be removed, and you'll be given a new one of 3 choices to pick. You cannot stack multiple buffs on the same day, so in order to get the hat, you do need to be choosing buffs every day, but you don't actually need to participate in that particular buff, you just need to choose it. Iron Man and free-to-play players can earn progress towards the cosmetic, but will not have access to the daily buffs. If you pick the wrong buff or you simply change your mind, you cannot go back, so make sure you're picking the one you want. If you join the event late and will not be able to activate enough buffs to gain the fancy hat, they are looking at alternative methods post-event to provide this cosmetic in the future. That said, moving on, today we have some changes to the Vorkath boss encounter, and we got the drop table rates revealed. Today they've added a new item to hard mode only, the Vorkath scale. This is a crafting material that will allow you to directly enhance your Dracolich armor from tier 90 to 92 without needing ancient scales or any other materials. Those are still an option that exists if you want that alternative route to enhance your armor, but now with these new scales you'll be able to gather everything you need for the armor directly from Vorkath. This is going to be added to the collection log. If you've already completed a log, you still retain the title, but the scale is something you'd probably want to get to mark off on your log. If you have not completed the log yet, it will now be needed to gather for the title. Like previous changes to the loot table, players will be unable to challenge the boss until they've opened all of their currently available chests. That said, the loot table and the drop rates have been revealed for the rare items, and you can see them on screen here, normal mode compared to hard mode, which has significantly increased drop chances for the rares. Note that the new Vorkath scale shares with the drop table of Invoke Lord of Bones Incantation Codex. If you roll for this, it's a 50-50 chance of getting either the scale or the codex. Also with the Vorkath and Zembraeagle fights, they fixed an issue where players could join another player's instance once the boss was already defeated. Players can now set fastest kill times when fighting Vorkath and Zembraeagle in hard mode. Fixed an issue that would cause the phase markers on Vorkath's HP in the Battle of Vorin 3 fight to display wrong information. Fixed an issue that would cause the phase indicators in the Zamorak fight to display incorrect HP and stacked at one location. Players now have to be present when starting the Zembraeagle and Vorkath fight via the gate to be able to claim loot. Kill count achievements for Vorkath and Zembraeagle will now be displayed correctly. And they fixed an issue that caused clues to drop on the ground when gaining a Vorkath shard with the Karos' clue carrier equipped. Anyways guys, if you enjoyed the video so far, please hit that like button. If you're not subscribed yet and you'd like to stay up to date on all things RuneScape related, then hit that subscribe button. Thank you. Lastly, we're going to close out with the patch notes and see what's changed with today's update. Looking at the Christmas Village, the Peppermint outfit and the combined hat and scarf can no longer be keepsake. They're going to instead be unlocked automatically in the wardrobe as soon as the requirements are met. Any previously keepsaked items have been cleared and the keys refunded. The Christmas 2023 music track will now automatically unlock it. Looking at some general changes, players can no longer use the power burst of acceleration to skip certain boss mechanics. Spencer has reclaimed Santa's activity flyers and packed up his notice boards for the year. Reduced skybox transition speed during the Araxor boss fight. The Seer's Headband 4 cosmetic override should now unlock as expected. If the cosmetic override remains unavailable after the completion of the Seer's Village Elite task set, talk to the Seer Taskmaster about buying the spare rewards. It's not necessary to buy any. Fixed a bug with the Light Within quest where Saren wasn't visible in certain cutscenes. The indicator for reputation gain appears with every activity performed within Menopause. Virago no longer shrinks during phase transitions. The Earhart heart penguin token now appears in the search function of the Grand Exchange. Overhead emotes correctly fit inside their containers in the community tab, and emotes view without overlapping the scroll bar. The tooltip info for the treasure hunter keys has been updated after using the keys. The 60th Protean log will now be used when throwing on a bonfire. The Raksha Shadow Colossus mini quest can now be started if you have started but not completed the Helping Lanaka mini quest. The bank chest in the Fort Furin 3 workshop can once again be used if the workshop is not built. The Magic Golem set is now stored as a replica item inside the keepsake storage. As such, players are now able to claim it from Diango storage if they destroy the original outfit. In-game dialogue has been added to better reflect Mandareth's location. Fixed an issue with one of the drawers on Entrana. Fixed an issue with the auto compost feature in Herblore Habitat. Fixed an issue with the Sneaker Peeper pets being unobtainable from the rewards trader in Demonheim. Repairing the frozen key by Bob now correctly applies to smithing level discounts. An issue with the sign-up porter not banking the correct amount of phoenix feathers has been fixed. Fixed a crash that would occur when using the reset option multiple times on puzzle clue scrolls. Fixed an issue that tier 3 Elder Troves would only give out a fixed 2 manuscript pages rather than the intended 2 or 3. Fixed a loading fault where the Daughter of Chaos instance loading could cause a progression issue. Fixed an issue with the bonfire not rewarding the player with a life point boost. Decreased the font inside the trading window in order for items with longer names to fit. Fixed an issue where using the Blood Siphon ability with the Blood Reaver familiar would unexpectedly close open interfaces. Players are no longer prevented to use the Mask of the Abyss teleport with a cannon in their inventory. Some issues with broken Gravite weapons have been fixed. The Natural Instinct ability won't be displayed when trying to use quick prayers without any prayer points. An option to reset the player-owned ports tutorial has been added. Dungeoneering token boxes are no longer bankable. Boxes that are already within your bank will be handled at a later date. The Premier Artifacts Experience bonus perk now works with the advanced pull scores while training the prayer skill by offering bones on any altar. Players are now able to rest with the Wraith Walk override active. Dying in the Clan Wars free-for-all portal with a beret and mask will now correctly drop a black beret. A ladder on Lunar Isle can now be accessed and used in both directions. Bethixing in caches no longer forcibly remove players while Wilderness Flash event windows are present. Fixed an issue preventing the Mortania Legs 4 and Falador Shield 4 from being unlocked after claiming rewards from the Taskmaster. The Scrimshaw of Sacrifice can no longer be abused to gain drops as well as XP. Patch bombing on Het Oasis Cactus Patch with the Hard Desert task complete will now give 6 cactus splines instead of 3. Fixed an issue that was causing the Charm Sack stages to upgrade all at once during the Nexus minigame. Fixed an issue with Ozan hair and Shadow Ozan hair activating a different hairstyle. Player is no longer teleported into the bandstand when accepting the quest portal teleport to that old black magic, Hermie and base. Necromancy runes and ectoplasm can now be taken to the Anima Islands D&D. The Herman summon override no longer grows in size when taking damage. The Necromancy conjures won't despawn anymore after spawning a Mogre. Fixed an issue causing the woodcutting green color on the completionist cape color presets to appear as bright pink, and added the bright pink as a color preset for those who took a liking to it. Fixed an issue where the custom fit trim masterwork body and augmented custom fit trim masterwork body sent a degrade message to the chat when the charges were 52.5% or lower instead of 5%. The plank making interface now scales on mobile devices. Added blocking to a few of the steeper hills on Entrana. Added a 2-tile distance check to the load last preset option on banker NPCs to match their talk, bank, and collect option. Resolved an issue with spore gathering at Corrosis when using porters in certain instances. Fixed an error that would appear when moving a partial folded alloy bar to another spot in the backpack whilst folding. Now, an appropriate message will appear if the bar is moved. Scroll bars in interfaces have been fixed to allow longer text strings to work with the scroll function. Dragon Maddox obtained from the ancient casket are recorded in the adventure log now, and Benedict and his scrapbook will now give the player clear sense of progression during the quest. Lastly, we got some engine changes. Fixed a crash that would occur on launch when using multiple monitor setups. Fixed an issue where radial entity highlights were more transparent the closer they were to the player. Fixed flickering player highlight that occurred when using always as their visibility mode. Fixed a rare geometry flicker when rotating the camera. Fixed an issue with billboards and animated models. Fixed an issue where some objects were not receiving outlines when entity highlighting is enabled. Fixed visual flickering when using Intel integrated graphics cards. Fixed 4K native rendering not working and blurry interface at scales below 100% on Windows 8.1 or older, and in some rare cases on Windows 10 and 11. Improved loading performances on certain iOS devices such as A10X based devices. Improved UI readability when either using 70 to 100% interface scaling or when resizing the window manually. Improved graphic stability. Increase the distance which radial entity highlights are visible. And lastly, optimize the volumetric scattering effect. That is it for your patch notes, and that is it for the first update of the year 2024. Looking forward to many more this year, and hopefully it's a great year for RuneScape. Anyways, with that, I am out. Aloha.